think we're back. And this is our last course that we got to hit on these playthroughs. So it's been fun going through these with you guys, watching along. So our last one is ErixonStone, Old Bosworth Field. Um, so it plays about 7,500, and um, I think tee manipulation got used here. He had recommended tees to go with each pin, so he said pin two pairs with the white tees, so we'll use that combo for our playthrough. Otherwise, no recommended conditions, so we'll just leave everything to default. If it gives us very high winds, we'll back out, but otherwise we'll just take what the game gives us. Okay, we got a big public high school in the background there. I'm just kidding. I'm not sure what the backstory on this one is. All right, we got this canal here down the right with a little boardwalk along it. It looks like there's sort of like, well, we'll see what the bunkers are more like when we get closer to them. So we got a long par 5 to start, but very reachable. So the thing with having all this woodwork in play, and yeah, I don't know if the sculpting is a little. I think the sculpting could use a little bit of attention there, but hey Matt, when you have all this woodwork, you're increasing the chances that somebody's going to bounce it off of it, and if that's what you want, fine. But I don't know. It's why I generally avoid retaining walls in this game because you have to layer them so much that it increases the likelihood that you're going to get some stupid fluky bounce when somebody hits it. And it's also why I rail against fences all the time when they're like right in play. It's not like when they're not really necessary. But we got some people with standing outside some trailers over there. Oh, are we going to catch the woodwork here? No, it's probably in the bunker. Oh, we made it over. Okay. Yeah, I'm like this green falls off sharply and it's just going to go into the heavy rough. I mean, it would probably be a dick move to have it go fairway all the way down to the wood and then have it just trundle into the canal. Also, I don't know. I guess I'm curious what's going on with this little area because it looks like you put down houses and like literally no other objects. You got some big old ships there, but um, I don't know. I think you could have done a little more to kind of make this. I think to make this area a little, give it a little more of a sense of place. Also, I think I also believe I said rail against fences. Unintentional play on words. Okay, so I feel like, the shadows are kind of covering up the landing area here a little bit. I mean, I'm not one of those people who's gonna really. I tend to be pretty forgiving when it comes to where shadows are. I'm not really gonna insist that, every landing area and every green be completely devoid of shadows. Okay, so it looks like you're kind of asking me to play out towards the water here. The tricky part is it's really hard to tell where that is from the tee without the scout cam. Okay, so we kind of got a sort of like a three-tiered green here. Now we're kind of out. We got the sheep watching us. Okay. Hmm. It's kind of what are those people down there watching? I guess that feels like a weird, like an odd, like a I don't know. I don't use crowds, so I don't really know. I'm not good at critiquing them, but that feels like a huge mass of people there, and they're pretty far away from me. I think I've probably critiqued enough of the sort of off-course stuff. I should probably focus a little more on the golf holes. All right, so we got a shortish par three, narrow green. So you got like a okay. Again, this is stupid nitpicking, but you've got like a narrow beaten down path there between the green and the tee and the green. So what that's suggesting is that all of the golfers follow that same path when they walk off the tee and go to the green. But there's like nothing that's constraining them into that path. So why would that be worn down? Anyway, I don't know what I'm guessing that's some kind of weird glitch with the OB there. I'm assuming that's not wasn't laid out as like in course OB because we just played that hole. I think this par three works. I think the bunkers sculpting it looks maybe a little bathtubby. In that like that back one, and yeah, I think all of them these do look a little. I think you could have flattened the pans just a little bit. Hey, Joe. Okay, now we kind of got a cape tee shot. I think you kind of went a little far with the planting here, maybe. I think you could probably that could you could stand to thin that out a little bit because I think it just kind of visually dominates this tee shot. Yeah, okay, so there's the bunker on the outside of the dog leg. So I think we want to be just left of that. Okay, let's take a peek at the green. Yeah, I'm not sure about the color palette here. Lots of browns and yellows, but all the trees around, surrounding are green. I guess there's a couple autumn trees around. Yeah, and then you got the green sloping away from the water there. It's not like egregiously unnatural or anything, but yeah, I don't know. I think this whole feels maybe a tad one-dimensional. It's just, bite off as much as you want of the water, and if you don't bite off enough, you go into the bunker. But at the end of the day, you just want to be in the fairway. Okay, we got a long par three. So sort of a subtle, very subtle redan. Yeah, I think these bunkers look a little better than some of the ones on the last couple holes. I think it's just because they sit in the land a little better, where there's a high side and a low side. So it's a little easier to get the sculpting right on those. I think that's a pretty nice mix of grasses. Okay, so we're back along the canal. We got what looks like a lion's mouth green. So we probably want to play left towards that bunker. Okay, so I depending on if the pin's on the right, yeah, then it's you're kind of asked to play along the canal. If it's long, or if it's left, you want to play left towards the bunker. I can't. Again, this may just be the yardage book glitching, but that looks like some kind of sloppy OB placement. But I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt on that because I've seen some weird red splotches here. Yeah, and then you have that yeah, that's a lot of people standing in one place there. But anyway, I'll try and refrain from further crowd commentary. Okay, so we got a narrow alley up the left we can play down if we're trying to get home in two. We can't make that though with this driver. I guess we could try and sling a hook around the fairway, but I think our best bet, we'll also have a better angle in if we go down to the right. So I think I'm just going to aim it right at the bunker and let the wind cut it off of there. Now 284, probably not gonna make it in this wind. So it looks like we would play this giant patch of fairway here on the right, or we can try and lay up short here. I'm guessing this gives us a better angle, given where those bunkers are. And I don't think I really want to try and make the carry with this wind. I probably could make it with a driver, but I don't really think I stand to gain very much if I do that. So I'm just going to try and hit like a 5-iron. Yeah, basically in line with the hole. Yeah, I think the bunkering on the last couple holes has been pretty good. I don't know if I'm a big fan of the environment on those holes that are along the canal. Just like, because you just have all that flat space, like where the animals are, where it's just kind of dead flat and empty. Yeah, again, just I think the planting on the riverbank here is just it's a little too busy for my taste. But yeah, I think the strategy on this par 5 is pretty sound. I think like just this in terms of scaling, this sort of right side bailout area maybe looks a little out of proportion with the rest of the hole, but I think that's a pretty minor nitpick if you ask me. All right, I think we want to play for the middle of the green here. Let it run back. Now we're just off the back edge. Yeah, so we got a couple. The tier, that middle tier in the front looks maybe a little bit awkward, but I don't think it's that. I don't think it's like a real problem or anything. That's a crappy chip. Okay, so yeah, we got these gigantic bunkers. I mean, all the T's are just kind of in this like little square here. Like, what's the deal with this? I guess maybe they're just visual. In which case, I don't know why you need two of them when you're just gonna bomb it over them. I think the planting looks, I mentioned the along the water's edge, but I think otherwise the planting looks pretty good. All right, do we actually try and use the replay here? Yeah, again, like what are those people like standing way down there? What are they looking at? Sorry, I said I wasn't gonna talk about the crowds. All right. So now we got a pretty tight landing area. We got I feel like these four little bunkers are a little bit maybe a little incongruous with some of the bigger ones. I mean, you can definitely you can change up bunker sizes on a course. Like, I mean, we saw that with Tanner's course. But it's something I think it requires commitment. But anyway, again, your four T's are just kind of in a little box pattern here. Oh shoot, I didn't change to the driver. That's kind of annoying. Well, I think this is like they used like T manipulation, and so like every set of tees plays like 7,500, so I have no problem with that. If it's it's like a tournament setup. What's up, Matt? And we got a cluster. Oh boy. I think this is a good green site for a a reachable par five. You can't really, you do kind of have to fly it all the way there. So maybe you could have given us a little more room there. And then just minor surfacing stuff. When you have light rough transitioning directly to the burned out heavy rough, it looks artificial, right? So if you just use a little fuzzy heavy rough brush there, you can clean that up a little bit. All right, so again, we got a couple ginormous bunkers here. This one's not really in play. All right, we're downwind. I think we can make that carry pretty readily. Although I didn't see where the other tees were on that hole, so I don't know. Maybe that one is in play for a further back tee. Oh no, not really. You got your box again. That's the thing. Like I feel like if you're gonna have these bunkers, at such wildly different distances, you might take advantage of that with your tee placement if you're going with this approach. Okay, so I think we got a pretty straightforward pitch here. We'll just try lofting a sand wedge. We got a two-tiered green here. Maybe you could bring the river in there a little closer on the left. Since that, I mean, as it is, it's not really in play. Again, you don't have to bring every single natural feature into play every time, but I could have added something, I think. Because as it is, that hole felt a little straightforward. When the pin's on the right, it's certainly more challenging. Okay, so now we got a really narrow fairway. Okay, so we played left, and now we got to deal with some trees, I suppose. So we'll probably have to hit a little draw around the trees. Oh, they get ticked a branch. Yeah, I mean, it feels like if you're coming in from the left, you're punished enough. Oh, maybe it didn't tick a branch. I think I just didn't club up enough because those trees aren't that close to the green. But yeah, I think this whole strategically sound. Maybe you could have given it a little more width off the tee, right? Give me an incentive to go further left off the tee, and give myself a worse angle in. Because you've got wide fairways elsewhere on the course, so it's not like it would be out of character. Okay, so now we got a nice elevated tee playing around this bend in the creek. Again, some of your fairway bunker placements I'm a little confused by. Right, like there are no like it's 255 off the tee, and it's not like this hole's long enough. It's not like I want to be further back. I'm gonna have a full shot in it either way. I think the bunker sculpting here looks pretty good. Okay, so we got our short par four up the hill into the wind. Probably we can't get there with my club set, so um, I don't know. I'd say maybe take. I don't really know if you need those trees on the inside of the dogleg because you can just hit over them easily, and it kind of you can't. I think it might add to the hole if you can see the green from the tee. Um, I'm quite excited to be done with the playthroughs, I guess. I mean, it's been fun to, engage with folks, and I haven't been streaming very much before this, so it's good to get back in the habit. But yeah, having to like come up with something to say about just about every hole is hard. Okay. So, I guess I'm just gonna like I'll just punch a hybrid up there, I think. At least he gave us something to think about with that bunker there. And the green's up on a knoll, so I don't even know if, like, how drivable is that? It seems like you're just going to end up either short right or long left. It doesn't really feel like there's a whole lot of, unless you get, like, a really lucky bounce. I don't really see a whole lot of divergence in terms of outcomes there. That turned out pretty good. Yeah, so I pointed this out when I was playing Calamity Bay. When you're gonna do you decide to make a swale, try not to make the edge of the green just a straight edge like this. It looks really unnatural. I can't remember which hole it was at Calamity Bay, but that one had a fall off to one side of the green, and there were lots of little, little random irregularities that really adds to the sense of realism. But yeah, so this green basically slopes towards the back left, so I don't know, like you can't drive that. It's basically do you want to put it in the bunker there? Do you want to have a wedge up the hill, or do you want to end up in the swale over there? Those are your options. Maybe I'm out of line because I'm only playing it one time, but at first glance, those seem like the three true outcomes. All right, it's the last playthrough. We had to have one. Let's get some Biarritzes going in the chat. Looks like we made it onto the back shelf. Okay, so I'm not gonna quibble with designing one. You created like a little some interest at the back. That front section is is really tiny. I don't know if I mean that looks unpinnable to me, which I don't know. Maybe that's what you're going for. But I don't know. But like you put a bunker there, like right sort of mid swale. It also looks a little sharp. At least the front part. It's like those bunkers you can't really see. Like I would have moved those bunkers just towards the back of the green a little bit. Yeah, I think it's basically just kind of like it's like having short grass short of the swale and just having it play the way you want. All right, we got a little helping wind here, and it's downhill, so I think we might have a shot at getting home here. We just got to deal with the bunker on the right. See if we can skirt past it. And probably not. Yeah, I think the sculpting here looks a little. I probably would have used a flatten brush right around where I'm standing a bit here. Like the way that fairway crowns before it heads down into the bunker that's behind me. I don't really care for that look. Second shot looks nice. That's got to sit. Yeah, I think I didn't like the canal holes, if I'm being honest, but I think the rest of them are, I think we're all pretty reasonable. I mentioned some of the fairway bunkers didn't make sense. Um, and I kind of thought, the using the multiple tees, I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity because they're all. He just went with the little four square on all of them. I'm guessing he mainly just did it for the par threes, for changing up the par threes, but um, like you see how every single hole is just. You can see it. All the tee boxes are just two. They're just two different little horizontal swatches of grass, and then each one has two tee boxes on it. Um, which I don't know, kind of feels like a missed opportunity to me. Okay, so it looks like the green definitely wants you coming in from the left, although this pin looks much more amenable to come to an approach from the right side. So I think that's where we want to play it. Unfortunately, we might run out of room. Well, it's into the wind. I think we'll be okay. So I'm just going to play for that towards that bunker there. Yep, perfect. All right, then we got a blind second shot or semi-blind second shot. We can just see the top of the flag. Oh, a little long. All right, so that was the last one, Old Bosworth Field. Yeah, I think in a lot of these playthroughs, I just default to like picking out things to criticize when I'm going through. But I try and be complimentary when I can because I appreciate people putting out these courses. Yeah, I thought the environment on this course was, aside from the holes along the canal, I thought was pretty good. I thought the planting was good, except in the places I pointed out. And yeah, I thought you could have done a little more with the tee boxes. Um, and the bunkering was fine. I mentioned the placement in a few places. Um, but I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, the bunkers are fine. But then if you play a lot of the other courses in this contest, it's just on a different level. So, um, so yeah, I think it's the bar just kind of keeps getting raised in terms of really creating a scene and a sense of place. So thanks for the design, Patrick. And that will do it. So the judges have been working their way through the group stage, and hope to have some results of those of the groups to you pretty soon. So thanks for watching these guys, and I hope you found them at least a little bit helpful. And I'll see you guys around.